what's up you guys? If you want to go from skinny to curvy, this is the video for you. Take it from me, I went from flat to hourglass fast, and I'm showing you exactly how I did it. This is my current glute day in the gym. This is everything I do from my warm-up to my supersets, all the workouts I do. So if that interests you, make sure that you stay tuned for that, and make sure that you give this video a big like and comment hourglass if you are joining in. And don't forget to check me out on other social media platforms as well, like Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, all at the handle @mugfitness. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, getting right into it, we are starting out with a dynamic warm-up. How I do this is I will start with some stretching. What this includes is some leg swings, both forward, backward leg swings, and then side to side, and then some hip opening leg swings as well. I like to do about 8 to 10 reps per side per stretch, and then I'll move into some other dynamic stretches as well. What this means is my body is just constantly moving. I never stop and stand still as I'm stretching. I save that for after the workout. Before the workout, my main focus is to not only stretch the body, but to also keep it moving, get it warmed up and ready for the workout ahead. As you see, I'm doing some just shoulder opening stretches and some hamstring stretches just to make sure that my body is ready to rock and roll. We are getting started with superset number 1, which is unbanded skater squats along with ballet lifts. So how I set up for skater squats is I'll use a Smith machine. I'll load on 15 pounds on each side. Typically for squats, I go up to 65 pounds on each side, but for skater squats, you're gonna see this movement is extremely difficult. I need to go light on the weight. My main focus on this movement is to be pushing my body weight through the side booty and aiming for range of motion and depth in the movement itself, rather than thinking about lifting super duper heavy. So as you see, what I do here is I'll lift up my free leg. You sometimes will see people doing this with a band. They'll put a band around their ankle and their knee. This will take a little bit of tension off the free leg so you can focus more on the movement itself. However, I just like to do it without a band. You will squat down, pressing the weight into your side booty and backward, and you'll feel it in your hips, your glutes, a little bit your quads, but I want you to focus on mainly pushing through your glutes. So to do this, push through the heel of your foot, and then also think about really sitting into your hip at the bottom of the movement. Try to do this 3 sets of 10 each leg, so 10 reps on each leg 3 times through. Like I said, the movement is rough, so if you can only get between 6 to 8 reps at first, that's a-okay. Don't beat yourself up. Just try to continue doing this movement. You'll get more as you continue on. We are going to superset this with 10 ballet lifts each side. As you can see, I'll just hang on to the Smith machine or any bar or anything that I can hang on to, and I will lean my body, my chest forward, and then I will kick up the back leg, making sure to squeeze my glutes at the top of the movement, further engaging the shelf of the glutes to really create that bubble butt look. So I like to do this. It is definitely an accessory movement. It's definitely not going to hit your glutes as hard as a super heavy weightlifting movement, but this just further creates that mind to muscle connection so you can further target your glutes and really enhance that shape. Like I said, we're doing 10 reps per side, and we are going through the superset 3 times. All right, moving right along into superset 2, we're going into hip thrusts on the Smith machine and then supersetting that with a hip thrust circuit. So to do this on the Smith machine, you're gonna lower the bar, and then I like to load 2 plates on each side. If you're new to this, I would say start with either 25 pounds on each side or 45 a plate, and then you can move up from there. You're gonna find what works best for you, but I've just found that 2 45 plates on each side is kind of like a medium heavyweight for me, which allows me just to really focus on the range of motion and just moving at a slow pace, because I really feel it in my glutes when I go slow with this movement. Always make sure to use a pad to protect your hips. What I'm going to do is prop my upper back on the bench just beneath my shoulder blades, and then I'm going to engage my core, so I pull my hips up, and then I'm going to go ahead and lift the bar up and then start with the movement. I'm going to be doing about 10 reps. I really like to go at a slow and controlled pace pace for this movement. After you're done with your 10 reps, you're going to immediately go into the circuit with 10 hip thrusts, no weight, nothing, just 10 normal hip thrusts. And then on the 10th one, you're going to stop at the top of the movement and you're going to count to 10 in your head. You're not going to move your hips. You're just going to keep them there for 10 seconds. At the end of the 10 seconds, you're going to go into 10 pulses. So in order to do a hip thrust pulse, you're not going to let your hips drop back down to the mat. You're going to let them drop halfway and then bring them back up. So it's going to be a slightly faster movement and it's going to be less range of motion. You're going to do 10 pulses as well. So the circuit once again is 10 normal hip thrusts, 10-second hold, and then 10 pulses. We are going to be doing this whole superset 3 times through. All right, lastly, we're moving into superset number 3, which is crossover step-ups with a weight and then glute-focused RDLs. So for the first movement, the crossover step-ups with a weight, we are grabbing a lighter dumbbell. I'm using a 25-pound dumbbell. And what I'm doing is stepping my outside foot over onto the bench or onto whatever I'm using to step up onto. And I am then transferring the weight onto this foot and pushing through the heel to step up. In order to do this, you're definitely going to have to drive through the hips. You're really going to have to push into that side booty once again. If you can't tell, this is really an emphasis during this workout is that side glutes. I really feel that targeting the side glutes during glute day helps build that hourglass shape. So continuing on, we are really making sure to push through that heel and the outside of that foot, further targeting the outside of the glutes and also that shelf part of the glutes. I'm trying to aim for between 10 to 12 reps per side. This is a lighter weight movement, so we can go up with the reps. Usually if it's a heavier weight, I would say decrease the reps, only try for 6 to 8. But because we're only using a lighter dumbbell on one side, we can do between 10 to 12 reps if we want. And that being said, you can also hang on to something if needed, if balance is a little off. Balance is not the main focus of this workout. The main focus is pushing through that heel. So helping yourself out with balance is not cheating. You are helping yourself and preventing injury. And then moving on, we are going into glute-focused RDLs. In order to do a glute-focused RDL, the main thing you want to think about is hinging your hips. I recently saw somebody talk about how it was game-changing when they started thinking about RDLs as standing hip thrusts. And I really liked that because I think it really drives home the movement that you should be thinking of when you do these. And that is the hinging of the hips and almost pressing the hips forward as you come up. So in order to do that, you need to press your hips back as you go down. So as you can see, what I'm doing in this movement is I'm letting the dumbbells fall down past my knees as my chest drops, but I'm also then pushing the hips backwards. Then on the way up, I am squeezing the glutes to pull the hips back into center while raising the kettlebell up. This places so much emphasis on the glutes. It's crazy. Another thing you can think about is pushing through the heels as well. Pushing through the heels will always target your glutes. And then as always, just to prevent injury, don't lock your knees. Keep them slightly bent throughout the entire movement, even when you come up at the top. We are trying between 10 to 12 reps of this one as well. Like I said, it is a lighter weight. This is also an accessory movement. We're treating it as such, but this can also be a compound movement if you want. RDLs are a great compound movement. It's really just up to you and how you stack it with the other workouts you're doing for that day. But yeah, I would definitely say aim for between 10 to 12 reps of this, and then you're gonna cycle through the superset 3 times as well. All right, moving right along into common mistakes. The first one is I don't feel it in my glutes. The main reason you don't feel it in your glutes is 2 things. It's either because of where you're pushing through in your feet. So as I've said multiple times in this video, you should be pressing through your heels. Oftentimes, if you're pressing through your toes, you're gonna feel it more in your quads. So always make sure to be pressing through your heels. Another thing that will help emphasize that mind to muscle connection motion for the glutes is to think about that hinging motion once again. So really pushing the glutes back and then squeezing the glutes in order to pull them back into center. So those are 2 takeaways I would definitely say to help you target your glutes more in any of these movements. The next mistake I hear constantly is I'm trying to diet, I'm trying to only eat this many calories. That is never going to help you. That is never going to be the case. The reason being is because muscle needs some type of fuel in order to be built. Your muscles aren't going to be built out of thin air, so you need to be nourishing them and feeding yourself. What I do during bulking season is I eat at a surplus, if anything. This really helps me gain the weight and help with that body recomposition so I can really build the curves where I want them. The last mistake is definitely not lifting heavy. You are not going to build curves by only doing Pilates. I'm so sorry, but you actually need to be breaking the muscles. You need to be ripping the muscles, the muscle fibers, so they can then repair themselves. And when they do repair themselves, this is when you gain muscle mass. So in order to tear the muscle fibers, you actually need to be lifting pretty heavy and causing a decent strain on the muscles. And you are not going to be doing this through going to Pilates. All right. Final thoughts, key takeaways. What do I think from all of this? I think a lot of people are going to be telling you that it is not possible to grow curves. I think a lot of people will say it's genetics or, oh, look at your bone structure. I get a lot of comments like that constantly. And creating an hourglass figure is more of an illusion than anything else. So it's selectively working out certain muscle groups to give you the illusion of having a smaller waist and wider hips. So that being said, you can do that through working out and through eating, and through what I did was eating at a caloric surplus, gaining more weight, and then working out certain areas so I could gain mass in those areas, which is ultimately how I was able to build an hourglass body. So you're gonna have a lot of haters, but basically key takeaways: continue on your plan, don't listen to them, and make sure you're taking progress pics, because there's gonna be a day when you look back and you're like, damn, I made that much progress. So make sure you're taking those pictures. But anyways, you guys enjoyed the video. As always, don't forget to give it a big like, comment hourglass if you were joining in for the workouts, and yeah, see you guys next time. I'll see you guys on next Tuesday.